video on Kydex holsters, from my perspective anyway. We got an example here of, I'm going to say, good, okay, and not great holsters. Good. This GX4XL holster is good. What was this? Bradec again? BRADEC holsters. This was a good one. Okay. It's got a decent clip on it. Nothing amazing. I do like the subtle branding. On the more generic ones, they might not have any branding at all, or they might put a big sticker here or something so that they can advertise their product. Whatever, you do what you want to do. I like the subtle branding. I do like to know what it is. I don't like having a completely generic holster that doesn't say who I got it from, because I'm going to forget, and I've already forgotten where I got some of these other holsters. So putting your name there is great. Doing it in a way that's not obnoxious is great. A good thing that they've done with this, they've recessed this for the screws, and they've done a really good job at it. Okay, you can see on another example here that, yeah, they recess it, but it's kind of a junky way to do it. This took some skill to get this in here correctly, or at least some planning. Edges of this are finished well. They offered a claw. Claw takes 2 holes, and even if you didn't have the claw, I wouldn't buy a holster without 2 holes here, 2 compressible points to help give you better retention on the firearm when, you know, maybe it wears in, maybe the screws work their way loose, whatever. Maybe you like a lot stronger retention than your friend next to you, and so these can be adjusted. I think that's important, and I'll show you on another example here where one screw hole didn't work out too well for me. Anyway, this is the good, and I don't know how you feel about open end or closed end. I kind of like open end. This one's tapered, so I mean, if you had a gun that was longer than, if there was like a Super XL GX4, it wouldn't fit through here because this is tapered. I don't know. I like to have a gun that fits the holster, a holster that fits the gun. So I don't care about this. I don't care if it's open end. I don't care if it's closed end. You know, I'm not swimming, so closed end doesn't bother me. I'm not rolling around in the dirt, so open end doesn't bother me either. Okay, here's my middle of the road okay holster. Got a clip, no branding. Edges are finished well. Single screw hole, and this is mashed down to the level of retention that I like, and it's pretty distorted in there trying to compress that rubber washer. It works. It's just not very, I can't get any more retention out of this. If I compress this, it just kind of, it doesn't do anything. I've tried. And you see they recessed the screws for this clip. Is it done as well? I'm not going to say it's done as well, but it's effective. And this one's an open end, tapered ever so slightly. Am I ever going to get an extended slide gun that fits in this holster? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, this is my okay example of a Kydex holster. Okay being, this is functional, but it's not good. Okay, it's not the best design. So there's the okay one. Here's the one that I think is just not great. I'm not going to say I wouldn't buy it again, because I probably would buy it again because the options were so limited for this gun. So this one is for the TX22 by Taurus. So it's that little 22 pistol that they've got. Edges are not really finished. I don't know if they claim that they're finished or not, but this is, it's fairly sharp on the edge still. It's got 2 screws. Fantastic. You're not going to be able to really tell that well in there, but even though these screws are snug, they're not compressing these washers at all. The retention on this right now is such that it's very difficult to get this gun in and out of this holster. And in my experience, Kydex doesn't just break in, okay? It might break someday, but it doesn't break in. This is not gonna loosen up over time. So I've thought about maybe either hitting this with a hairdryer to warm it up, or a heat gun. I'd probably start with a hairdryer. I'm a little cautious. This did cost me about $40 for this, which for an eBay holster, you know, cheapest holster I could find in the configuration I wanted, $40 seemed like a lot. I don't think I spent that much on, well, I might have spent about that much on this one. But this one is vastly superior to this one. Why is it so better? Well, just, first of all, it's got a upgraded Kydex. It's got the carbon fiber look, okay? Does that matter? It doesn't matter, but companies charge more for it. The materials cost more. So, there you go, you get charged more. This is the, you know, generic, cheapest Kydex you can get. The clip. This is a paddle holster, so it's a different configuration, but look at the implementation of this recess for these screws for the clip. I could very easily see pulling this gun out and sliding it along these screws and scratching up the side of your gun. This is not a very good design. Not a very good implementation of that design. Now, if you only made the recess point right around the screw, then, you know, the plastic, or the Kydex, I should say, around it is going to protect the screw heads from bumping into the firearm. And they didn't really do that. They just kind of pushed it away with something. I don't know, maybe they shoved a rag down. I don't know what they did, but this is a very large area here, a very gentle slope that the gun is coming out of, and that's just not good. That's not a good way to make your holster. It'll work, and I'm still going to use this, but I do kind of dread the day that I scrape it up against that and it tears up the side of my gun and I get a little scratch there, and yeah, I'll complain about it, but life goes on, and I don't want to buy another $40 holster for a 22 pistol. So this is the one I'm going to use. Maybe I'll put some tape over it or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. But that's bad. The retention is an issue. This clip, it's a pretty generic clip for a paddle holster. I think it'll be effective, but it's not super tight either. Time will tell whether or not this will pop off of my belt. I have mixed feelings. It might be fine. But let me just show you. Let's go through these. Let's go through the, what should we start with? Let's start with the good one, okay? So we'll get the GX4 out. And we'll drop that in here. What's this? That's beautiful. Okay? beautiful. That's the way it's supposed to work. You put the gun in the holster, it snaps into place. It doesn't fall out. And you can easily pop the gun out, but it does have the retention. And it snaps into place. It snaps into place. Probably most of you out there watching this are like, of course it snaps into place. That's what a Kydex holder is supposed to do. Well, not all of them do. And I'm sure if you've had a lot of Kydex holsters, you know that there's good ones and there's bad ones. And there's okay ones. So let's go to the okay one. Here's my Kahr CM9. Wait, I didn't hear a snap. Did you hear a snap? Let's try that again. Was that a snap? No, it's still moving. Oh, that's it? It just slides in? There's no audible snap? No, it's just a friction fit. That's it. Friction fit. Doesn't snap. Now it's not a problem. I mean, it still has retention. And I've played with this screw, trying to get it to, snap in versus just kind of mushing in. But one screw didn't cut it. And I don't think they worked the Kydex properly into the trigger guard for it to snap in right. But it does work. It's effective. And it has retention. It protects the trigger guard. It does all the right things. It's just, it's okay. So that's the okay one. Let's look at the one I have an issue with here. So TX22. Here we go. Ooh, it snaps in nice. That's great, right? Let's get it out. There we go. I didn't know how to demonstrate to you that it was too tight, but it's too tight. It's too tight. But it does work. So it's just not great. So now you can fix something like this. I think all the retention is going to be around the trigger guard for this gun. They didn't really work it into the ejection port, which is good. I don't think that's a normal way to do your retention. Usually you do it off the trigger guard. So I think all I need to do is hit this with a hair dryer or a heat gun, and I might not have to do anything, because I think what's going to happen is once you heat this up, all these shapes are going to soften up. But even if they don't, you just gently wipe something inside there, and it's going to take out some of the impression. Not your finger. You're going to burn yourself. Little wooden stick, popsicle stick, something like that. And then maybe I can use these screws, which right now are just barely snug. But if I loosen this holster, loosen the Kydex up a little bit so that it's not quite so form fit to this gun, then maybe these screws will start to adjust the retention. Because right now they're just snug and the holster is tight. I would like to be able to snug those down and not have it be impossible to take the holster out. And I would like to be able to have them this loose and have the gun maybe not quite have enough retention. Just my preference. You guys might like it this way. I don't. And I can tell you that when this holster breaks, it's going to break right here. I mean, You got all the force right there on this, which is the smallest part of this gun, or smallest part of this holster. So that's where it's going to fail. When? I have no idea. It might last me a decade, but maybe more. Maybe it'll last longer than me. But that's where it's going to fail. So that's not a great holster, but that's the one I got. Yep. Some brief philosophy on holsters. You get a holster for how you're going to carry. Okay? I found a bunch of holsters out there for TX22s. They're inside the waistband. Are people carrying this as a concealed carry weapon? That doesn't make any sense to me. Who would carry this? This is effectively a full-sized gun that fires 22. Why would you carry this concealed? So I eventually found a paddle holster for a TX22 that was somewhat reasonably priced. Okay, $40 is not cheap. I like getting $20 holsters when they're basic generic Kydex. Like this one, I probably spent $20-25 on for my Kahr CM9. And I've had it for about 10 years, and it works fine. It's not great, but it works. This one, I don't know that it's going to last that long. If I carry this every day, I'm pretty sure I would break it at that point that I was talking about where the screws attach. And it's too tight for me, for my preferences. But regarding philosophy of carrying, you're not going to carry this inside the waistband if you're normal, in my opinion. This is an outside the waistband carry. For the most part, this is going to be a plinking gun, maybe a varmint hunting sort of handgun. You know, maybe you want to shoot a squirrel or a snake with this. I don't know. I'm not a hunter, okay? Don't get after me for what you're supposed to hunt with a 22. You do you. I don't hunt anything. I defend myself and I target practice. That's it. That's how I use my guns. I don't hold anything against you if you're out there hunting. Again, you do you. But this is not a concealed carry self-defense weapon. This is not an inside the waistband holster sort of gun. So I picked a paddle holster. Why a paddle holster? Why not get something with belt loops on it? Well, I'm going to use this as a plinker. And I want to be able to hand this over to, I don't know, one of my sons or my wife or my father or whoever, friend. I have some friends. Yes, it's true. And I want them to be able to slide this into their belt and be able to use it easily without disrobing and, you know, attaching it through belt loops. Quick, easy to put this on and take it back off again. So paddle holster is ideal for this kind of gun for me. There weren't very many of them out there, and I didn't find any that were cheap. So I don't know why. Am I crazy? Okay, your concealed carry guns are all going to be inside the waistband. Or, I guess I can't say that, huh? You have pancake holsters and all kinds of other things that are outside the waistband, but for the most part, they're going to be inside the waistband. Most people are going to be arguing whether or not you should, you know, carry on the hip or carry appendix. I don't want to carry appendix. You guys can carry appendix if you want. That's not something I'm interested in. and I can go into that more later, but I'm not going to do it now. So that's Kydex holsters for me. Make sure you have a holster for every handgun. Make sure you have a strap for every rifle. You need a carry strap for every rifle, holster for every handgun. One other little tip I wanted to show, which I don't know how obvious this is, but lubricating your guns. I got grease in a syringe and I got oil in a syringe. I don't use the grease very much, but there are a few places on some rifles where I've used this. I've even used this a little bit on handguns, but pretty rare. There aren't very many points where you want a sticky grease. I'm sure there's people out there that are going to say, you never want to use grease on a handgun. Whatever. You guys can do what you want. You're grown-ups, I hope. You better be. Don't be watching me if you're not grown up. And oil in a syringe. Now I use a type of motor oil. You can use whatever oil you want. I figure there's a lot more development in motor oils than there are for gun oils. So I pick a high quality, very lightweight motor oil, and I use that in my guns. So far, it's worked fine for me. And I can go buy a lot of it for relatively little money versus buying a little tiny bottle of it, of gun oil, from some company that says they have some premium gun oil. Again, as I often say, you guys do what you want to do. This is what I'm doing. I'm not living in Antarctica. I'm not worried about my gun freezing up and sticking because the lubricant is, we got the wrong viscosity for that temperature. I live in the desert. It's either cool in the winter or blazing hot in the summer. So my guns aren't going to get sticky from getting too cold. But the syringe has proved for me to be a very good method of getting down into lubricate places that are difficult to get to and not applying too much lubricant and getting it all over the place. So that would be a little tip, a little recommendation for your lubricating of firearms. So there you go. That's all I got for this one. Have a good day and stay armed. Bye.